Have you ever noticed how the way we start the day defines everything else? Sometimes we wake up with the alarm clock scaring us, notifications bombarding us, and our minds already in a state of high alert. Before we even brush our teeth, we are already immersed in chaos. And that's where Stoicism comes in, an ancient philosophy. But today, perhaps more than ever, it is a true map for discipline, self-control, and emotional freedom. Imagine waking up and, instead of being swept away by the whirlwind of life, firmly taking the helm. Each morning, by practicing small Stoic actions, you rebuild your mind like a patient sculptor molds a masterpiece. Discipline, silence, courage, reflection, each element becomes a solid brick to build a mental fortress that withstands even the most violent storms. And hey race, what no one told you: mastering your mind in the morning isn't about fighting the world. It's about aligning body and soul, like a silent warrior who knows his biggest battle is internal. Throughout this guide, we'll delve into simple but powerful practices to train your mind in the early hours of the day, combining physical exercise, journaling, premeditatio malorum, gratitude, and much more. If you feel like you need more peace, focus, and strength to face your days, then get ready. These Stoic lessons will open doors that you may not have even known existed within you. Let's build your new beginning together. Waking up already immersed in notifications, charges, and anxiety has become almost a modern ritual. We barely open our eyes, and there are the messages, the concerns, and the urgencies that weren't even ours. Stoicism warns us this is the first self-control test of the day. Either you let yourself be carried away by external chaos, or you anchor yourself in internal discipline. It's not easy, but that's where true mastery of the mind begins. Imagine starting the day like a soldier on the battlefield: no plan, no protection, just waiting for the next blow. This is what happens when we wake up without intention. The disarmed mind is an invitation to panic, haste, guilt. Stoic discipline teaches that the first movement should be inward, not outward. Before opening your cell phone, open your consciousness. Building a strong mind starts in the first minute after waking up. If in the first moments we already choose the path of disciplined silence, breathing, reflection, we shape the rest of the day. It's like tuning an instrument. If you start out of tune, any song will sound strange. If you begin with self-control, even the dissonant notes of life will have harmony. What if I told you that a simple morning ritual could change the entire course of your week? It doesn't have to be long or complicated. 5 minutes of an attentive, connected, disciplined mind are worth more than an entire morning lost in distractions. The true personal revolution begins like this, in what no one sees, but which changes everything. Discipline is not cold rigidity. It is, in fact, the greatest act of love you can do to yourself first thing in the morning. It's giving yourself the chance to choose who you want to be that day, instead of being pushed by the winds of events. As Marcus Aurelius said, the happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts, and they start in the morning. To apply this, try something simple tomorrow before any external stimulus. Take 3 deep breaths and ask yourself, what quality do I want to carry today? Patience, courage, resilience? Choose your internal flag and march under it. It's amazing how this small choice creates an invisible shield against the chaos of the world. The internal discipline that is built in the first few hours is not just mental, it is also spiritual. It connects the body and mind in a silent symphony of preparation, acceptance, and strength. You are not controlling the world. You are controlling what matters, your own response. And this skill, honed every day, changes destinies. In a world that screams for our attention 24 hours a day, stillness has become almost a secret superpower. Most wake up already running agitated mind, racing heart, hasty decisions. But Stoicism invites us to do exactly the opposite. Before any movement, sitting in silence, breathing, feeling life, and just existing is an act of rebellion and self-control. Imagine starting your day like a calm lake instead of a raging sea. All it takes is 3 to 5 minutes of absolute silence to reset your nervous system and anchor your body and mind in calm. It seems little, but it's like planting invisible roots that support you in the worst storms. The discipline of stillness is the first victory of the day, silent but monumental. It's not about forcibly emptying your mind or not thinking about anything, as many think. It's about being present intentionally. The simple act of observing your breathing, feeling the weight of your body, listening to the silence around you, trains your brain for self-control. You begin to realize that you don't need to react immediately to everything that happens. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, said inner serenity is invincible, and it starts with the conscious choice of not letting yourself be pulled by the first stimuli of the day. When we cultivate morning stillness, we develop a natural patience to deal with the unpredictable. And let's agree there's never a shortage of unpredictable things, right? A simple trick: wake up, sit on the bed or the floor, close your eyes, and just listen. Don't try to correct thoughts. Don't force peace. Just be there. Some days will be easy, others not so much, but they will all be training for your resilience. Silence is your first daily gym for the stoic and strong mind you want to build. If it seems difficult at first, and it will remember an undisciplined mind is like a dog without a leash. It runs everywhere. But with patience, with practice, she learns to walk alongside you. These 3 minutes of silence, if practiced every day, will have more impact on your self-control than hours of impromptu effort later. Stillness is not escape. It's preparation. It is your invisible shield against excess stimuli, against anxiety, against the rush that kills presence. Starting the day like this is like saying to yourself, I am the commander of my mind, not a passenger lost on a high tide. And this silent certainty changes everything. Choosing a virtue to carry with you throughout the day is like putting on invisible armor. When you wake up and determine, today I will practice patience, or today I will act with courage, you change the lens through which you see the world. It's a powerful Stoic strategy, turning every challenge into a training ground for the mind. Virtue is daily action, not theory. Imagine your day as a marathon full of obstacles. If you simply let it roll, every stone becomes a reason to complain. But if you choose the virtue of resilience, each stumble becomes a lesson in strengthening. The discipline of morning choice prevents you from being swept away by chance and makes every moment an opportunity for growth. Want practical examples? If you choose patience, use each line, delay, or difficult person as a gym weight for your mind. If you choose courage, face that call you've been putting off, that uncomfortable conversation. The chosen virtue becomes a silent guide, guiding your reactions and strengthening your self-control without you needing to force it. The Stoics remind us that we do not control events, but we control our disposition towards them. Choosing a virtue is deciding in advance what your inner response will be. It's like programming your internal GPS. You will still encounter traffic, detours, storms. But the destiny, your peace, and self-control is already set. A practical tip: write on a post-it or in your journaling notebook which virtue you chose for the day. Visualizing this commitment reinforces your intention and keeps your mind focused, even when the first irritations arise. Training the mind is like training the body. Constancy trumps intensity. On difficult days, it will feel like you failed. But remember, a more fatty? Stoic practice teaches us to accept even our small falls as part of training. The important thing is not to never fail, it's to start over whenever you realize you've gone astray. The chosen virtue is like a compass. It may sway with the wind, but it always points the right path. At the end of the day, ask yourself, did I honor my virtue today? Not to judge yourself, but to reflect. This small moment of honesty, gratitude, and forgiveness with yourself will transform you from the inside out. Every morning, a new chance. With each conscious choice, more control over who you are becoming. Premeditatio malorum. The name sounds complicated, but the practice is simple and transformative. It's about calmly imagining the obstacles and difficulties that may arise throughout the day. It's not being pessimistic, it's being a strategist. By visualizing possible challenges, you strengthen your mind to face them without surprise, without drama, just with presence and self-control. Think like a general who studies the battlefield before the fight. He doesn't expect everything to go well. He prepares for deviations, for failures, for unforeseen events. In daily life, the same logic applies. Reflecting on what could go wrong reduces the emotional impact when chaos appears. And spoiler, he always appears. Want a practical example? Before leaving home, think I might hit traffic, meet angry people, or have changes in plans. Accepting this possibility in the morning is like putting on invisible armor. You prepare yourself emotionally. When something happens, it's not the end of the world, it's just expected, and you already know how to act. Premeditatio malorum also teaches patience and resilience. By visualizing obstacles, you learn to accept that the world does not turn to meet your desires. This does not generate apathy, but courage. You act knowing that life is fluid, full of uncertainty, and that it is precisely this unpredictability that trains us to be better. To apply, take 2 minutes early and think of 3 situations that could test your discipline today. Instead of hoping they don't happen, think about how you would like to react if they do happen. It changes the brain, trains the body, and anchors the mind in virtue. You won't be caught off guard, will be caught prepared. Marcus Aurelius, who faced wars, pestilence, and betrayal, practiced premeditatio malorum religiously. He knew that the mind, when it anticipates wisely, does not bend in the face of adversity. You can cultivate this strength too, and it starts with small, silent, daily practices that no one sees, but that shape your destiny. Think of the exercise like putting on a mental seatbelt. It's not because you want to crash your car, it's because you're wise enough to protect yourself if the road gets rough. Premeditatio malorum is discipline. It is amor fati in action. It is accepting life as it is not as we would like it to be and still moving forward with courage and serenity. If there's one thing that Stoicism achieves, it's total focus on what's in your hands. The undisciplined mind wastes energy on things it cannot change: traffic, other people's opinions, the weather. Now the trained mind knows it's not up to me, so it won't steal my peace. It seems simple, but this conscious choice is a true superpower. Starting your day by filtering what's controllable and what's not is one of the most powerful habits you can cultivate. By doing this, you don't eliminate problems, you eliminate unnecessary suffering. You stop swimming against the current of reality and start riding the waves like a patient, flexible, and resilient master. Want a workout? First thing in the morning, write a short list today. What is 100 in my control? Usually it's your actions, your words, your attitude, your effort. Everything else results, reactions, circumstances belongs to the external domain. This clear separation clears the mind like a fresh wind clearing the clouds. Epictetus said some things are within our control and others are not. Just like that. And yet, we forget. We want to control the boss, the traffic, the partner's mood. But, let's face it, that's like wanting to control the wind. Better learn how to adjust the sails. The mature Stoic understands this and becomes invincible from within. Focusing on what is controllable reduces mental fatigue. Every time you get angry about something you can't change, it's like you're trying to run through quicksand. It's tiring, it wears out, and it doesn't take you anywhere. Consciously choosing where to put your energy is pure discipline and, ultimately, an act of self-love. When you truly understand this separation, a huge weight falls from your shoulders. You begin to live lighter, more present, stronger. Not because the world has changed, but because you changed the way you position yourself in it. The disciplined mind doesn't fight the rain, it dances with it, adapts, and moves forward. Then, throughout the day, repeat to yourself like a mantra, I take care of what depends on me and release what doesn't. This simple phrase, repeated like watering a plant, will strengthen your internal discipline until it becomes natural, like breathing. And at that moment, you will realize that you have achieved something rare: true freedom. The biggest modern trap is waiting to be motivated to act. If you depend on feeling like it to start, you'll spend half your life standing still. Stoicism teaches true discipline ignores the mood of the moment. Acting without waiting for motivation is one of the greatest acts of self-control and freedom you can achieve. Think like a Stoic soldier. He doesn't wake up thinking, am I inspired for battle today? He simply fulfills his mission because he knows that action shapes character. It is not the spirit that sustains the discipline, it is the discipline that creates the spirit. Movement generates the energy you think you need to have before you start. A powerful practical tip: in the first 5 minutes after waking up, take a small action without thinking too much. It could be making your bed, doing 10 push-ups, writing a sentence in your diary. The secret is to break the inertia. The mind that acts early, without internal negotiation, trains the most important muscle, the ability to do what needs to be done. Motivation is like a spark, it comes and goes. If you build your life on it, your journey will be unstable and inconsistent. But if you build on consistent action, even when the right feeling doesn't appear, you build resilience. You create an internal engine that does not depend on mood winds to function. Marcus Aurelius said, when you wake up, say to yourself, I must go to work like a human being. Simple and brutally true. Not as someone who expects to be applauded, not as someone who needs external encouragement, but as someone who understands that work is part of virtue, of duty, of building oneself. When you change the question, do I feel like it? Why is this what needs to be done? Your whole life changes. You stop treating yourself as a fragile being and start treating yourself as a responsible, capable, and resilient being. Action generates self-pride. Action creates momentum. And momentum is what pushes you away from procrastination. So, tomorrow morning, don't expect to feel the perfect vibe. Don't wait for the sun to shine, for inspiration to descend like a divine ray. Just be, with small, disciplined, constant steps. The mind that acts before questioning is the mind that conquers. And achievement, my friend, is a direct result of discipline and practice. Memento mori. Remember, you will die. At first glance, it seems gloomy, right? But in Stoic philosophy, this remembering is one of the most liberating tools there is. It's not to generate fear, it's to generate clarity. When death stops being a taboo, life starts to be lived with more intention, courage, and true gratitude. Imagine living each day as if it were a bonus, a gift that could have been denied but was granted. Suddenly, irritations lose their power, fears become smaller, and priorities become clearer. You realize that you don't have time for small fights, for postponing dreams, for living under anesthesia. Life beats stronger when we remember that it is finite. Marcus Aurelius constantly wrote about death in his meditations. He knew those who face finitude head-on don't become paralyzed, they become lighter, more present, more fair. Every morning you breathe awareness of your mortality is an opportunity to live not on autopilot, but with presence and intention. Do you want to apply this? In the morning, before diving into your tasks, stop for a minute. Take a deep breath and say to yourself, today could be my last day. How do I want to live it? It seems heavy, but it is transformative. This simple thought is like a lens that clears illusions and focuses your mind on what really matters. By remembering that the clock is always ticking, you become more courageous to act and more patient to accept what you cannot control. You no longer let yourself be dominated by useless haste or empty anxiety. Memento mori brings with it a type of serenity that cannot be bought, cannot be pretended, it can be achieved daily. And the most beautiful thing is to realize that, by remembering death, you learn to live better. You hug more, forgive faster, thank you more intensely. You see that discipline, self-control, inner silence are gifts that you give yourself, because you understand that each day is a chance that cannot be repeated. So tomorrow, when you open your eyes, remember, I might not be here, but I am. And with that thought, live your day with the courage of someone who knows that everything is too precious to be wasted. This is the silent strength of memento mori, transforming each dawn into a new opportunity to honor life with virtue, presence, and love. Love Fatty, loving destiny, not to accept with bitter resignation, but to embrace with enthusiasm everything that happens, the good, the difficult, and the unexpected. Stoicism teaches us that fighting reality is the surest path to suffering. Amor Fati shows us that, by accepting life as it is, we gain silent and unshakable power. Think about it, how many times do we waste energy resisting what has already happened? We fight with the past. We revolt with what we cannot change. Amor Fati is the discipline that says, this happened, then it was meant to happen. I will make this my strength. It's not being passive, it's transforming every stone on the path into a step of growth. Nietzsche said that amor fati is the formula for human greatness. And it makes sense. By accepting without bitterness, you preserve your energy, your mind, and your courage to act on what matters. You don't waste your life dwelling on what should have been different. You focus on the now, on what you can build, on what can flourish despite or because of the thorns. Want a workout? When something upsets you, instead of reacting with anger or frustration, mentally say amor fati. You don't need to understand everything right away. Just accept it. Just breathe. Just recognize that there is something bigger unfolding, even if it still seems confusing today. This is profound discipline, trusting the flow of life without losing conscious action. Loving destiny means being patient when plans fall apart. It's having courage when paths change. It's about having self-control so you don't become bitter. When you train this active acceptance, you realize that the difficulties you feared so much were, in fact, essential chapters of your own transformation. And it's not that you stop suffering, you suffer better. You suffer in a way that polishes you, not destroys you. You learn to see the beauty even in chaos, the opportunity even in failure, the lesson even in loss. And little by little, what seemed like adversity becomes part of your silent and resilient strength. So tomorrow, if something goes differently than you planned, smile lightly and say, amor fati. Because there, in that moment, you are not just accepting fate, you are becoming invincible. And there is no greater gift for those who have decided to live stoically, fully, and truthfully. The Stoics understood something that many people still ignore: the body influences the mind, and the mind influences the body. There is no lasting mental discipline without some level of physical discipline. Body movement awakens focus, strengthens your will, and anchors you in the present moment. This is why many sages train the body as a way of training the soul. You don't need to be an athlete or do extreme exercise. Just move. A stretch, a short walk, some push-ups. What matters is the intentional gesture done with presence. This small effort in the morning activates not only your muscles, but also your courage, motivation, and self-control. You get out of inertia, and that changes everything. Epictetus, who was lame, said that we should not neglect the body, as it is our instrument for living in accordance with virtue. And it makes sense. A mind that moves with the body learns to resist discomfort, to breathe during effort, to persist even when it hurts. This is the basis of Stoic resilience in action. Want to practice? When you wake up, do 2 minutes of intentional movement. Breathe deeply. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel your body waking up. It's not about aesthetics, it's about presence. It's a physical reminder that you are alive, that you are in control, that you can conquer laziness with action and apathy with intention. And there's more. Physical exercise helps to silence the mind. How many times have you gone for a walk and come back calmer, with clearer ideas? The body in movement clears the noise of anxiety and excess thinking. It's almost as if you're freeing up internal space to breathe better emotionally. Training your body is not vanity, it's self-respect. It's saying, I care about myself enough to take care of my base. A strong foundation supports strong decisions, and strong decisions support a life of purpose, discipline, and presence. Your mind deserves to inhabit a body that collaborates with it, not sabotages it. So, early tomorrow, before picking up your cell phone, stretch your arms. Take a deep breath. Walk a little. Do jumping jacks. Anything that reminds your mind, we are together, body and I. We will face this day as a team. And believe me, this simple internal alliance will take you further than any temporary motivation. The mind needs direction, just like a ship needs a compass. Starting your day with Stoic reflection is like aligning your internal GPS before taking on the world. A simple quote from Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, or Epictetus can change your entire attitude towards challenges. It's a small practice, but it has a huge impact on the way you see life. You can choose a phrase and leave it visible on the mirror, on the refrigerator, or on your cell phone lock screen. Something like it's not things that disturb us, but our opinion about them. Epictetus. When you read this early on, you remember that you are in control of your mind, and that reacting with balance is a choice, not an automatic reflex. This daily reflection is like an invisible shield. It doesn't prevent problems, but it prepares you emotionally to face them maturely. By remembering principles such as acceptance, courage, and presence, you strengthen your resilience. It's like reviewing your inner playbook before taking the field. Want a step-by-step? Choose one Stoic quote each day, read it slowly, and ask yourself, how can I apply this today? It's not enough to admire wisdom, you have to embody it. This simple question activates the power of intention. It connects philosophy with practice and transforms you from a passive listener to an agent of your own evolution. This practice also reduces morning anxiety. Instead of immersing yourself in your cell phone, the networks, the news, you immerse yourself in something that strengthens you. Instead of absorbing noise, you feed on clarity. The mind that starts the day by reflecting deeply has more self-control, more patience, and more strategic vision of its own emotions. And do you know the best? It doesn't need much time. 2 minutes, 1 paragraph, and 1 sincere question. This simple constancy shapes the mind more effectively than hours of directionless content. As the Stoics said, little is needed for a happy life. And that starts with good reflection and the courage to live it. Little by little, you will realize that certain phrases will echo throughout the day. They appear in line at the bank, in traffic, in that difficult conversation. And that's where the magic happens, when philosophy stops being a concept and becomes a natural reaction. And it all starts with a daily commitment to reflect with discipline, presence, and love for your own destiny. Writing in the morning is like opening a window inside yourself. Journaling, or reflective writing, is a stoic and powerful habit for cultivating self-awareness. It's not about writing poetry or being a writer. It's about honestly recording what you feel, what you want, what you fear, and what you're willing to do about it. Seneca recommended reviewing the day at the end of the night, but adapting this to the beginning of the day is just as powerful. Before the world screams its urgencies, You listen to your own voice. And that changes everything. Writing is a tool of discipline. It organizes the mind, calms the heart, and shows you what really matters. Want to start simple? Take a notebook and answer 3 questions. How am I feeling today? What do I want to accomplish? What virtue do I want to practice? Ready? 3 sincere answers that put you on track. Over time, you will notice patterns, blockages, sabotage, and most importantly, you will see your own silent victories. This practice is also an act of courage. It's looking inside without filter, without performance. Being honest with yourself takes more strength than pretending everything is fine with the world. But that kind of truth builds roots. And where there are deep roots, there is stability even in the storms. Journaling is self-mastery in practice. You don't write for others. Write to understand yourself, forgive yourself, discipline yourself. It is a space of silence amidst the noise of the world. A place where you can reflect without judgment, plan without anxiety, and be grateful without rushing. And if one day you don't know what to write, write exactly that. Sometimes, the act of trying is already an exercise in presence. Don't cover perfection, commit to the process. Habit is more important than inspiration. It is constancy that shapes the Stoic mind, not the brilliance of a single moment. Little by little, this morning ritual becomes an encounter with your essence. You know yourself better, act with more intention, and live more clearly. And when life gets tough, because you'll have a place inside to return to. A place made of words, truths, and discipline. A place of your own. If you want true emotional freedom, practice gratitude and forgiveness every day, especially in the morning. It sounds simple, even cliché, but it is deeply Stoic. Gratitude anchors you in the present. Forgiveness frees you from the past. And together, these 2 silent acts create space for a lighter, more disciplined, and more resilient mind. Being grateful is not ignoring problems. It is recognizing that, even with them, there are blessings around you. Did you breathe today? Does anyone love you? Do you have a chance to try again? That's already a lot. And when you start the day with this outlook, the rest takes on a new perspective. It's like adjusting the focus of the camera. What was blurred becomes clear. Forgiving, on the other hand, is one of the greatest tests of self-control. The Stoic does not hold grudges because he knows that resentment is a poison that only he himself takes. Forgiving isn't saying it was fair, it's saying, I'm not going to carry this around anymore. It's leaving the other with their own conscience and moving forward, lighter, stronger. Do you want to start this ritual? In the morning, write or think about 3 things you are grateful for. Then say to yourself, today, I release any hurt that keeps me from living clearly. You don't need to feel it right away. Just repeat. Repetition takes root. The disciplined mind learns through habit. Seneca said that nothing is more powerful than a mind that is at peace with what was and what is. And this only happens when we release the invisible weights. Gratitude gives you presence. Forgiveness gives you back energy. Both, together, put you back in control of your emotion, and that is freedom. This practice also improves your relationships with others. When you start your day with gratitude, you become more generous. When you start with forgiveness, you become less reactive. Your presence changes. Your energy changes. And the world around you begins to respond differently. Because, deep down, inner peace is contagious. So, early tomorrow morning, Before you even get up, take a deep breath and think, thank you. I am alive. I choose not to carry sorrows. Starting the day like this is like taking an internal bath of lightness and awareness. The mind that is grateful and forgiving is an invincible mind, not because it ignores pain, but because it transforms it into wisdom. And now that you've come this far, tell me, how many mornings have you lived on autopilot? How many opportunities to strengthen yourself internally have you missed because of rush, anxiety, or distraction? Perhaps the biggest revolution of your life is not in big external changes, but in those silent minutes you spend with yourself before the world wakes up. The question that remains is, will you continue to be a hostage to circumstances? Or will you start, tomorrow, training your mind as a stoic warrior with discipline, courage, patience, and presence? You don't need any more external stimulation. Need more internal commitment. You need to trust that, with small, consistent steps, you build an unshakable mind. What you decide to do with your mornings from now on will reflect on all areas of your life. And if this journey resonated with you, if something here touched your mind or your heart, don't stop here. Subscribe to the channel, activate the bell, and come with us on this journey of inner strengthening. There are a lot of good things coming, and your transformation is just beginning.